Recording in progress. Oh, are we doing all from the beginning?
In the Pop Culture Cupid podcast, we talk about how pop culture influences our expectations in relationships. I'm Alison, love coach, here to help you single people find your way back to love.
Healthy communication. I'm Michelle. I help singles embrace themselves and their singleness, as well as develop a healthy self-relationship. We bring some juicy stories from our own love lives and dating, and it gets pretty interesting. Be focused, we're gonna be to the point, and no digressing.
Self-awareness. Follow, share, subscribe, enjoy.
And like and comment.
If it's shockingly bad, we just re-record another one.
Yeah. No, I think there's some good stuff that you can just nitpick. Recording in progress. I keep trying to come up with interesting ways to mimic it, but I don't know if it's really.
There's this podcast that I listen to called Shagged, Married, Annoyed. I may have told you about it before.
Yeah, we've spoken about it.
So they've been going for 5 years, and it's one of the highest performing podcasts in the UK. And she starts off. Hi, you're listening to Shagged, Married, Annoyed. It's me, Rosie Ramsey, and my husband, Chris Ramsey. And then she just comes up with an insult, and come with a and he hasn't showered in 2 days, and so he starts a bit smelling, things like that.
It's a good way to get people to kind of break that. Like I think it's a brilliant way to get people to just to grab their attention and to break their, you get into this trance when you're automatically listening to something or automatically walking from work to home. So you barely notice anything anymore. And so when you have that little thing that's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
sort of gets you into it.
And I listen to them every week, and they're great. And quickly look up Chris Ramsey on your. Everybody who's listening, because I'm not gonna put up a picture of him, but he's
Ramsey, actor and comedian. There's quite a few Chris Ramseys. Canadian magician and YouTuber.
Yeah, so not him.
Okay, I think I see him. 37 years old. Oh, spouse Rosie Ramsey.
So that's him. Well, he's kind of traditionally handsome, isn't he? I would find.
Yeah, he's cute.
And
why not?
They had this episode where they were talking about embarrassing crushes, and a lot of people say, apparently a lot of women say that their embarrassing crush is Chris Ramsey, and I'm like, that's so horrible.
In what way embarrassing crush?
Well, so
because he's an awkward guy, or because he's dorky, or because he's not the kind of guy that you would normally have a crush on, or because it's just awkward to have a crush on someone that you don't know?
No. So definitely not the last. I think the one of just like, he's not the normal type of guy people would have crushes on. I think traditionally, well, not traditionally, but like stereotypically, people have crushes on, Chris Evans, Jason Momoa, Brad Pitt, these types of.
Yeah.
And I think then you've got these like completely opposite types of crushes, which, some people might say that they had a crush on, I don't know, the guy who played Tyrion Lannister. And you watched Game of Thrones?
I have no idea who that is. I'm sorry.
You didn't watch Game of Thrones?
Oh God, no.
Oh my God, I didn't know this. Tyrion Lannister.
Please don't try to convince me.
I won't convince you, but it's surprising.
Everyone who's watched it, like, oh my God, you have to.
It took the world by storm. It's kind of like, it's when people say,
I know,
watched Harry Potter. I'm like, you haven't watched Harry Potter?
No, that is weird not to watch Harry Potter. Although I think it's weirder not to read the books, because the books are so much better than the movies. But I
agree. I agree. Harry Potter. Okay, so let's talk about Harry Potter. So an embarrassing crush on Harry Potter would be, I don't know, like Crabbe or Goyle.
Yes and no, because it really depends. Because I'm assuming this Chris Ramsey,
yeah,
is probably a good stand-up guy. He
Yeah,
probably has
yes,
a personality.
he's fantastic. He's fantastic. What I'm saying is an embarrassing crush, I think, falls under the thing
Oh,
of
yeah,
like,
as
why
opposed
would
to with him. Yeah,
why
yeah.
would you kind of like that? Yeah, that is embarrassing. Like you shouldn't be
I have
talking
no idea
about.
why that's
Or
so.
maybe having also a crush on Severus Snape. So not Alan Rickman, who's an amazing actor and
Yeah,
was fantastic, but the
yeah.
character Severus Snape of just like
I
portrayed
can
by Alan Rickman.
understand that. He's mysterious. He's like stern, and a lot of women find
But I
that
think
appealing and mysterious, and we like the drama and the
I agree. And I think that's kind of the limit of just like he's not an amazing guy, but he has all of these things that can be
yeah.
traditionally appealing. And so anyway, and so these women have been coming out with my embarrassing crush is Chris Ramsey. And I'm like, that's so harsh.
Why is that embarrassing?
He's handsome, he's funny, he obviously is a loving father and husband. Like he's got, yeah, okay, he's not Chris Evans and like this muscular beefcake, but I wouldn't call him an embarrassing crush. And it got me thinking of just like, do I have any embarrassing crushes? I think he would definitely be a crush. Like if he
Yeah.
I don't spend a lot of time having crushes on celebrities of just like fantasizing what my life would be with them. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, neither do I. I think it's ridiculous because it's like maybe because he looks like a dorky kind of, you know,
I
he
agree.
doesn't
I
look like
think
a man that you know, maybe because most people would go for someone like Brad Pitt and Ryan Reynolds or whatever, then they would then that's why they're like embarrassed to say, oh, mine is actually Chris Ramsey, who's like, and a lot of people will go like, even who? So
yeah, maybe, but it's so harsh. I'm
yeah.
trying like there's I'm trying to look at other kind. There's this other comedian that kind of falls in that category, Jack Whitehall.
Oh yeah. Now that I know who it is. But I have a story for you, which kind of segues into my own embarrassing crush
Go for it.
about someone who's the I used to work at this hotel, and there was a guy there who worked in the restaurant of the hotel, and we were good friends. We had a good vibe. He wasn't particularly handsome. He was like pretty scrawny, like kind of very thin, and but he was such a sweet guy. Like he was such a charismatic guy that all of the girls constantly had crushes on him. And he was constantly going out with like different girls. And and this story is gonna be sort of how about an embarrassing crush of mine and how my embarrassing crush actually saved me from going out with the wrong person or no or falling to the trap of this charming guy who everyone has, I guess, an embarrassing crush on because he's not like the best looking. He's not, you know, he's not fit or anything, but he's so charming. And he's like, a lot of times you see this, and I guess this is part of like the crush that they had on this Chris Ramsey guy is that maybe he's not the best looking, maybe he's a bit dorky, maybe he's a bit scrawny, whatever it is, but he has such a personality that's just captivating. And we had vibes. I had vibes with this guy, and apparently he was going to even ask me out. But I had a super embarrassing crush on someone else who worked with me. My God, who I was just constant. My God, it was so like I constantly like just went to talk to him. I was constantly like just trying to be around him, and he turned out to be gay, so that was fun.
Yeah, that's an embarrassing crush. I would agree on that with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So and it was like I was and I didn't know that he was gay until like several months in when another guy who slept with him came to
Yeah.
work with us. So I'm like, okay. And in my head, I was like already planning on like, oh my God, what would be like together? And I was like, constantly trying to seek him out and talking to him and flirting with him, and he was, my God, I think he enjoyed every minute of it.
But is that
Like on the
is that
one hand,
is it embarrassing to have a crush on him, or was the crush the way you behaved embarrassing?
everything was just embarrassing, and everyone knew about it, which only made it even more embarrassing. And it was just, my God, it was because I couldn't shut up about him. I was constantly like seeking him out, and I was constantly flirting with him. And I never told him. He never, I don't know to this day if he knew, but he probably knew. And like on the
Yeah,
one
he
hand, you can say he
probably
was sweet for, yeah, he probably knew. But like you can say he was sweet for not saying anything and playing it cool. But then why didn't you tell me that you were gay? I'm like,
yeah.
what? What? You clearly knew that I was into you. And it was just like this whole, my God. But on the other hand, at least the other guy, the charming guy, didn't end up asking me out. Apparently he was going to, but he didn't end up doing it because he realized that I had a crush on him.
Oh,
And
I
then that saved me
see.
from being another notch on his bedpost. Yes, yes.
Oh,
Thank you very
funny,
much.
funny. I was kind of, how do you handle somebody having an embarrassing crush on you? Because if you've got an embarrassing crush, I think it's just, as you do, you're putting it now, it's just, it's a crush. You're not head over heels in love. You get over it. But
Yeah,
if you feel somebody having a crush on you, like, I feel that a way that he could have kind of dealt with it was just to slip in the conversation somewhere that he's gay.
yeah.
Um,
But he was, yeah, no, he was constantly being evasive and weird, and like he was constantly even lying about his age and
gay.
yeah.
Um,
But he was, yeah, no, he was constantly being evasive and weird, and like he was constantly even lying about his age, and he was just like withholding a lot of information. Well, I was like, should have been a red flag. I mean, I should have been like,
should have
what
been,
the hell? But I was like,
maybe
I
they.
think, I don't know, I was just so desperate for something, and I was like, I don't know. I convinced
I think
myself that it would have been romantic and cool, and
you, I think also, people enjoy the attention.
yeah. Oh, he
I
probably
think
enjoyed it. Yeah.
there are two things of just like, you can have this thing of just, I feel I've had people have, I don't know if it's an embarrassing crush to have a crush on me, but I
No
feel that
way.
I have had men, flirt with me and it was unwarranted,
That's not embarrassing. That's a
unrequited.
given.
But I've said, and in these times where I kind of would just kind of slip into the conversation that I have a
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
boyfriend, and like
Yeah.
I do drama theater class, and like there's this one guy, like I feel he kind of has a crush on me, so I just slipped into the conversation a few times
Mm,
that I'm living with someone and I love him so much.
yeah.
But other times, in another time in my life, and it may start again, it may happen again, where if I get some attention, I will kind of play with it. It's horrible. It's well, not as horrible, but it's just, I think you go through these stages where you need a bit of validation, and so it's
Yeah.
tough to push somebody away.
Yeah, it could be very awkward for them as well. And I think it's that tension between not wanting to hurt their feelings and not knowing how to say it, and also enjoying the attention and enjoying
Exactly.
the, so you kind of want to have that, enjoying both worlds of just keeping someone at arm's length and in friend zone, but also enjoying their attention on you and their flirt. Well, I don't know if the flirting, but like the
The
bringing
attention.
them
Yeah,
coffee in
yeah.
the middle of work, the cooking them a meal, the helping them with different things because you have a crush on them, so you want to help them out. But
Yeah, and I think you want to put the limit somewhere. And also having a crush is fun. I mean,
yeah, it can be very fun.
well, I think we've talked about this before, but as a teenager, and I think still now, I'm boy crazy. Like my
Mm-hmm.
life is an embarrassing crush. Like I always you know, I've always had to
Yeah.
have my attention set on someone. And I think there were two periods of time where I was just like single and thriving from being single,
Yeah.
in the sense that I didn't want to be in a relationship, but I still had men in the background, like flirting
Yeah.
and, you know, being on Tinder, like, and just, you know, my life is just an embarrassing crush of just, especially when I was a teenager, I'm constantly just like, okay, who am I in love with now? What type of thing? Who am I setting my affections on now? Um, and so there were times where, you know, I was unhappy with it, and it took me time to kind of just, you know, transforming the whole, you know, I need to be in a relationship, into I just want to have a crush on someone and just flirt
Yeah.
and have it not matter. Um, and I've had situations where, you know, it was, we kind of had these weird conversations of like double entendre of, we're not going to get into a relationship, but we're happy flirting type of thing.
Yeah. Those
And
are the funnest.
those are the best. Yeah, those are
Yeah.
the best is being happy in a
Yeah.
relationship or single, you know. But the whole, you know, understanding that it's not going to go anywhere, you're not going to sleep with each other, those are the best things. And you're just, you know, you have this understanding of like, this is as far as it's going to get. That's so much fun.
Yeah. I had one, like, I'm gonna get back to the other thing because I had another thing to say about that. But you were saying about like having a fun, flirtatious crush kind of thing. It happened to me in another place I was working, where there was this, I want to say guy. He was a boy. I was like 26, 27, and he was like 20, 21 or something like that. And we just hit it off from the beginning. And we were constantly like, when we were both working on the same shift, we were constantly talking, we were constantly flirting, to the point where everyone thought we were in a relationship.
Mm.
But I feel like we both kind of knew that nothing ever would happen. Not sure if something ever almost happened. I don't think so. I think we just enjoyed flirting, a little bit of touching, caressing, looking, and kind of thing. And then it's just something about that dynamic was just exciting, and it was like, it's kind of liberating because you know that you can have this crush without worrying about the drama escalating, because you both know it's never going to work.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of fun. But then you have these embarrassing crushes where it's just, I was talking to my friends about it, I was like really feeling like this could happen, and you just kind of drive yourself crazy over it. You're constantly like looking on their Instagram, or constantly looking what they're doing, and
Or
wondering if they're
updating
thinking about
something. Yeah.
you. Yeah, or just like trying to do things just to get their attention, or to seem cooler than you are, to make them like you. And so, I mean, there's embarrassing crushes with people you don't even know, that has, no impact whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
these
just like for the fun
celebrities
of
that,
it.
yeah.
There's embarrassing crushes where it's just not really embarrassing, it's just fun little crushes to just have someone to, I don't know, entertain you, or just to get you through a dry spell. And then you have these embarrassing crushes where it's like your whole, it makes you sort of lose your mind and become this crazy beast that just is suddenly, I don't know, can't get someone out of your head, even though it's like, I don't know, it's just like gets you into this mode of like, I don't know. But again, I think it's when someone makes you feel like that, like you're out of control, and you're sort of like in a daze around them, to the point where you can barely control what you're saying or doing, then that's not the right person for you.
No, no, I completely agree with that. And I think that probably comes with age.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, we all need to have our little
Yeah. Because, you
consuming
know,
crushes when we're younger.
yeah, and I think that they're, you know, they're fun. They can be a bit, you know, I don't know if the word is dangerous, but some might be a bit obsessive. But I think in general, having these crushes are fine. I was thinking about, have I ever really had a really embarrassing crush? And then it happened. I remembered one where,
Yeah.
so the guy was clearly flirting with me. Like, it wasn't unwarranted, like not out of nowhere. But he was a stripper.
No.
And so when I was at university, I was part of this sorority.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to cut in here and say we were talking about embarrassing crushes and you couldn't think of anything. It took you time to remember this. I'm sorry, I had to. I'm trying to.
So many boys,
Oh,
Michelle, so many
so hard to
boys.
keep track already. Yeah.
I mean, because I was trying to think, when I was I had 11, so I don't know what grade that is in the non-French world. As I had a crush on my maths teacher, but that's hardly embarrassing. I was
Yeah,
11
everyone
years
has
old,
a crush on a teacher at some point.
I was just like, that's boring. And then I was thinking, okay, well, then there was this guy in Italy, that's boring as well. But this stripper. so so
Did you
so
know he was a stripper when you went into
oh
it?
yeah. I knew he was a stripper
Okay.
because
Okay.
I was part of this sorority. That so when was this? I was maybe 23, 24. Jesus, time, Anyway, and so I was
Yeah.
at school and part of the sorority, and so many things linked to being with the sorority. But one of the things was they organized this huge party for all of the sisters, and and
Hmm.
so you got involved. And so there was a massage table, and you could have your nails done and cocktails and everything. And a couple of strippers just show up in the at one point in the evening and put on a show. And I've been to a couple because of bachelorette parties and things like that. So I don't know, I think maybe 2 or 3 times I've been, around male strippers. And this was the closest proximity I've ever had, because we were only like 20 or 30 girls, and none of us were the birthday girl or the bride or whatever. So they didn't have instructions to go towards this specific person. And I don't know if you've ever seen strippers, but usually they're like the
Hmm.
mid-ground stripper has an amazing body, but not a very nice face. That's the way it is. Anyway,
Wow.
this guy was drop dead gorgeous. Like, if I will find him on
Oh, you
Facebook
have to
and
find.
send him to you. And he was just stunning, and
Ah,
he took a liking to me. And so I don't know. So, and this is when it gets a bit embarrassing, because I don't know. I don't know if he actually took a liking to me, or if he was just he kind of saw
that,
a weak lamb in the
yeah,
herd. He could, you know
that's his job to flirt with women,
exactly.
basically.
And he spent a lot of time dancing with me, on me, whatever.
Ooh, fun.
It's
Well, at
just,
least you got some fun out of it.
yeah, I got some fun, and I just developed this really, really just strange crush on him. So I added him on Facebook, and just like, oh, remember me? I
Oh,
always...
remember me.
and it
Oh,
was just, and it was it. I was,
yeah.
yeah,
That,
you can't look at your phone right now, can you?
I can look on my computer, but
I mean, I'll
yeah, that's nice. That's nice. You can cut it out afterwards, so not everyone if you want to, but like, I get it.
provide. Anyway, and I think that's a good embarrassing crush. Not in the sense that it's not a guy, this is a handsome muscular man, but
Yeah,
the kind of the thing that happened in my brain, where I kind of thought I had a chance with him, and
yeah.
that I was just this, the one he chose. And oh Anyway, I think it's
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how he chose me on that evening.
Well,
And we
I
chatted a
think,
bit
yeah.
on Facebook. And he even told me that he had a girlfriend but was like in an open relationship, anyway, and that kind of
Yeah.
that's when it kind of all died down.
Yeah. And we all have a crush on the idea of being chosen by someone who's very coveted
Yeah,
and who's like, who's just everyone wants, or that guy that you know is unattainable. And we want to be the one who's going to be able to grab him.
yeah,
We have a
yeah,
crush on that concept instead of going to like the healthy, easygoing guy who's not going to make us chase them.
yeah, exactly. Those are boring for a while. We talked about this previously, like, but there's a
Yeah.
stage in our life where these guys
We
are
need
a bit
the
boring.
excitement. We need the thrilling. I think maybe we need to get it out of our system so when we do find the
Yeah,
person who's gonna, we can have that boring, stable life where then it's already out and we no
yeah.
longer need to seek it out or create the whole drama and the excitement where there is none.
Hi, Alison, way in the future from when this was recorded. We are changing the format. We've announced it on previous episodes, and so this is kind of be a bit choppy. So this is just me saying it's a difficult transition, and the rest of this episode is going to be next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Bye bye.